It says we're live.
I see it too. Awesome. We're finally like making some damn progress.
Yeah.
Progress.
So yeah.
Yes, I was high hiving,
Joe,
skydiving.
Joe, who
What?
are we? And what is this? What is this?
Oh shit. I'm Joe Boda, and this is our stupid podcast thing because we got real bored and we couldn't make any content for the actual game site. So now we're making a podcast for zucchinithumbs.com.
And this requires almost no effort besides just getting into the damn chat.
I
And
mean, that was pretty much all of the effort. I mean, I probably could have um, edited our videos to Vegas in the time that it took us to get this set up.
yeah.
No
Oh,
lie.
yeah. And I'm Peter. I'm the other crazy person from this website.
The other thumb of the two thumbs. Oh God! Holy shit! What was that? Was that me?
What'd you do?
There's a big old. Oh, it's fucking Peggle.
Well,
I'm on my computer and I just logged into Origin and it just shot this like really loud noise and it's basically telling me to get Peggle. So I'm sorry.
you should get Peggle. Why don't you have
I should
Peggle?
get. I have Peggle on the PS3, but I haven't touched it since I beat it.
That's a junky version of Peggle.
Is it? What was wrong with it?
You have to use a controller.
I mean, as opposed to touch
I own
controls?
that version of Peggle, but I also own the PC version, and by comparison,
Oh,
both
because the
mouse
precision.
or
Yeah, I know what you're saying. All right. I mean, I guess. I don't know. It's the precision has always been liberal enough with me that I've never really felt like it was a huge deal.
yeah.
I don't know. I thought you were saying junky from like a technical perspective. I'm
Oh
like,
no,
I remember that running pretty well.
it works fine. It's
Yeah.
not like some games that we'll be talking about later.
Oh yes. Oh. Ho ho.
So yeah, I went skydiving today.
And how was that?
So, did you see my post on Facebook? About it?
How like 32.2 miles traveled? I don't know if that's vertically or just the plane.
That's just the plane. No,
You didn't fall 32 miles down.
no, we were at 14,000 feet in the air. But so I'm an intern at Garmin, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously for some people, but you. And I told my mentor, hey, I'm going skydiving on Saturday. He's like, oh, we got to hook you up with all the Garmin stuff. So he gave me this Garmin watch that does everything, like altimeter, GPS. It knows where you are, and it does heart rate with a heart rate monitor that I strapped to my chest like Iron Man. And it was crazy. So I got all this data, and I posted it on the Garmin website. And here's the watch. It's pretty fancy. It's not mine, though.
Ooh.
I borrowed it from him. It's a $500 watch, so I'm not.
Oh my God!
Yeah. But
Don't ever give it back.
never. I have to. But
No.
yeah, I'm certified. I have a thing.
Certified to what?
Certified that I took my first skydiving jump, and it's backwards, but whatever.
It's backwards. Huh. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I can, if I keep skydiving, then I could become a certified skydiver, because I did tandem this time, obviously, because it's my first time.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I'm probably never going to do it again. So it was awesome, because for about a minute, you're free falling, and it's like the greatest thing ever. Literally, every part of your face is flapping, just like, and then you can barely breathe. Like, the air is coming up so fast, and I held my mouth open, and just my mouth was so dry. Just all the liquids in my mouth got sucked out.
That's actually pretty crazy.
And that was pretty exhilarating. And then, they want you to keep your back arched and your feet back, and they said I did a pretty good job. But then once the parachute happened, I was like, okay, this should be the easy part, right? Not for me, because I have a very queasy stomach. I felt sick, like we started doing these loops because it was really windy today. By the way, we went there at 8 a.m. I didn't even get into the plane until like 1 p.m. because of weather delays because it was so windy. But
No maintenance.
No maintenance. It was just wind, and it was so windy that he had to keep doing these loops to make sure that we didn't get blown away. So, and I have a bad stomach, so I felt like I was going to puke the entire time. I had to ask him, like, what do I do if I'm going to throw up? He's like, well, we don't want the puke to land on somebody down there, so you need to pull your shirt up and throw up into the shirt. So luckily I was able to hold it in, but once I hit the ground, I like laid there for about 10 minutes deciding whether I was going to throw up or not.
I hate that. You just can't make up your mind.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. Well worth $200.
No, that sounds like a really good use of money. Like, that's pretty incredible. Much better than those stupid simulators. I can imagine.
I don't need to simulate it, I lived it.
I'm looking at the link, and I really want to try to, like, see if I can copy and paste this link as an overlay. And apparently that's no easy task in Google Hangouts, so that's probably not going to happen.
The drop?
I'm on the Garmin Connect site.
We can share the screen. Like, here, I can show my elevation versus heart rate graph.
I mean, yeah, go for it. That would actually probably be better to just showcase it. I just wanted to see if I could actually, like, display the link over it, and it doesn't seem to be an option, so you could probably screen share.
Well, the screen share doesn't seem to want to work.
What? Let's see if I can do it.
I'm clicking it and nothing's happening, so...
What? Am I sharing?
Oh, yes.
Haha! I did it! Alright.
I don't know why it's not working for me, but it's working for you. This is great.
This is stupid. Like, they've made Google Plus so much worse.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those things where you would have thought they would have stopped adding to it since it was never popular, but now they've just keep plugging shit in, and the UI is a monster, and I don't understand.
It's gotten so hard to use.
I don't, like, Google's usually pretty good at scrapping stuff. I don't understand why they just kind of let it hang around. Like, if they're not satisfied with something, usually they have no problems or qualms just getting rid of it. But in this particular case, it's just such a monstrosity. There's no reason to keep it up. Anyway, yeah, we have your speed and your elevation. So you only did one drop, it looks like?
I did one. It's $200 every time you drop, at least
200 drop.
When you're tandem, but if you keep going, the price goes down. So once you're licensed and you have your own gear, it's only $25.
So I'm guessing this was the drop, and then at about 2 kilometers you used your parachute? Is that why there's such a slowdown here? I'm sorry?
Exactly. That's where the chute comes out.
Yeah, and then you speed up almost as fast as you were dropping, and then you slow down as you get closer to the ground.
Oh, yeah. I love the heart rate one, though. The heart rate one is great.
Oh,
you can tell where they were just like, hey, we're getting out of the plane soon. I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Wait, is this overlaid perfectly? I can't tell.
Oh, yeah, it matches up in time.
Okay. Alright, because I was about to say your heart rate spiked at this spot for some reason. Is that when they're like, get ready?
That's when they opened the door. I'm like, oh no.
And they left it open for what seems to be, was that 15 minutes? No, 10 minutes about. A little bit less than 10 minutes, like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
They opened the door, and then you fell, and your heart rate was still pretty damn high, but after you deployed the chute, it looked like you tapered off a bit.
Yeah, it's more relaxing once you're in the chute, as long as you don't get queasy or puke.
Yeah, and then as it started to accelerate from this plateau here, your heart rate seemed to jump. Like, it looks like it's lagged a bit just because of the human body.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how humans work. And then your temperature. Oh my God! Oh wait, is this the outside temperature?
Yeah, that was when we were heading up. It was really hot today. It was like 100 degrees out.
Yeah, it was really hot, and then they opened the door, and it cooled off quite a bit, and then it got hotter and hotter as you spent time outside. Huh. I love this. I love these charts. Is the power of Garmin.
I know.
This is actually pretty fun. This is some nice data porn here.
If you scroll up,
Yeah.
if you
Oh
scroll up to
god.
the top, there's another tab called Players.
Splits! Oh, player. I'm sorry, I hit
Splits is,
splits.
splits is if you're actually if you're running, you can do get your splits, but the
Yeah.
splits data is really broken because I was in a plane.
Yeah. It's like
So
going 200 miles per hour. No, wait, now he's not going any. Wait,
so
now he's going really fast.
you can pick what data points you want to compare and then play them in this player.
Huh.
So like if you put like elevation and like heart rate or something, because the speed's kind of junk because it was only reading GPS speed, not necessarily elevation.
And didn't know what to make of it. Alright, so we
Yeah,
have elevation versus heart rate,
yeah.
and then we can
I like
play
so I like the dips where it goes to 0, where clearly it lost connection to the heart rate monitor.
it.
It
You
wasn't because I
died.
died. Yeah, I died.
You have had explicit orders not to die. Oh, I see, and it maps it down here as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not great.
I want to need to slow it down to ostrich. Huh. And so this is where it's open. So when it lines up here is when. Huh. Okay. Yeah, and it was when you were squiggling about. That's where they dropped you.
Exactly.
Huh. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, this is probably like the most bleeding edge stuff that Garmin does, that's why I'm
Or
really happy I got assigned to this project.
or probably the most consumer friendly, because this is a problem that I have with Cisco a lot, is that most of their stuff is kind of like, this is not the stuff that the consumer will be seeing eventually. It's stuff that is going to be like deep down in the system that no one will ever touch but once. So at least in this case, you actually have something that I can interact with and I can enjoy as a consumer versus something where it's like it's completely arbitrary on the system side. So you're
Oh
never going to look
yeah,
at it.
this is our big we're trying to get this to grow. It's going to be like a social network. Right now I think we have like 4 million people on it.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
it's
a good
cool.
idea. I think that if they could integrate it with other stuff like, I mean, I'm sure they have Facebook integration to some extent.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
they have Facebook, Twitter. Like if you go to like share, you can share it with pretty much any social network.
huh. You can, anything, really. Even MySpace, wow. The project was started when MySpace was in their peak.
It's
No,
actually true.
I
This
believe
is
it.
the new version of Connect, but the old version of Connect is 10 years old. So
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 what
that
wrist did you wear the watch on, Peter?
my right wrist.
Huh, that's pretty funny actually. Cause
Well,
I'm at a bus stop every morning to go to work, and there's usually about 10 to 12 other interns there, and they're all like pretty, what's the word, ritzy.
yeah.
And to a certain extent, they all have watches, all of them, even the women, all of them have watches, always on the left hand. And it was one of those things where I got kind of this irrational. I don't know. I was angry for some reason. I'm like, you conformists, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I work at a tech company. Who am I to say any of this? But I don't know. It was just kind of. I
Uh,
don't know. It's become one of those things now where I can't unsee it, and it bothers me.
it's because my left wrist has the Vivo Fit on it.
Oh no, it's almost worse. You're double wristbanding it.
Yeah.
It's almost worse. Uh, wow. Yeah, it's a hot one in California right now too. All our thermometers say 82. It's not 82. It's like 100. Easy. It's so hot. Huh. All right. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Garmin Connect. It's the future.
Yep.
The future.
The future is now. Actually, the future is in September when all my features get released.
And then everything just breaks.
Sadly, I can't talk about it because it's secret. But
We write tests to make sure our programs work, but who tests the tests? These are the important questions we ask ourselves before quietly dismissing them. I have a problem all the time where I just write unit tests. And it's like, I'm not sure if this is actually going to work, but let's do it anyway. And it'll pass, but I find myself editing the tests a lot more to conform to what I've already written than to have what I've written conform to the tests.
Yeah.
It's mocks, man. It's those mocks. I always have to rewrite the mocks. Nonsense.
Yeah, mocks are the worst. At least
Mocks are no fun.
yeah, they're terrible.
You're
Luckily,
effectively telling the program how to act. It just doesn't make sense to me.
luckily, I haven't had to deal with really mocking things because we just have a test database that everyone just uses.
Mm-hmm. We do it both ways in that sense. We have our mocks for our unit tests, and then we have integration tests which interact with a real external server and a servlet, and we run both of those in Tangent. So it's basically I've doubled up on the tests that I have to write, and it's okay, but our server was broken all day. I want to say Wednesday, like all day, because I had pushed some code that was not functioning, and I mean the tests were not functioning. The code was functioning, but the tests were written in such a way where I may have had a forward slash somewhere where it shouldn't have been, and everything was just all mucking around. And also our code coverage broke. Like every possible test we could have had broke somehow because of X, Y, and Z. I don't know. It was just I spent all day refactoring that stuff. I don't know. Coding.
Coding.
One of the worst parts of coding. Also, I haven't unshared my. Oh no, I have unshared my screen. Good. I automatically did that. I was about to say. There's so much porn on my screen right now. Don't look.
Oh jeez.
Oh
you
god.
want to know my favorite part about coding, right? At Garmin.
What is your favorite part about Garmin?
Well, so my mentor, he's a fat guy.
All right.
And he's always munching on something while he's coding. And it's actually become like a joke where like first he had a bag of M&Ms, like peanut M&Ms, and he'd just eat them. This was like a regular bag. Then someone was like, hey, can I have some? So he ate some, but then the other guy ate a lot of them. So he's like, oh, I'll bring you some more. So he brought him a bigger bag the next time to make up for it. And then this continued where the next guy brought an even bigger bag until we just got like, we found the biggest bag you can find at a store, and it's called like the triple XL party size. So he was eating all these M&Ms, and it took him like a week to eat the triple XL party size M&Ms. And
only a week?
Yeah, and then my boss is just like, man, what happened to the party? We're like, we had the party this week with the M&Ms. But that's not even the best part.
What?
He smacks his lips so much. He's like, just everything. Like he grows cucumber in his garden.
Yeah.
He's just chomping on it, just like, these are great.
Why? That sounds horrible.
I don't know, but I went to get lunch with him the other day, and he got a milkshake, and he
drank your milkshake.
Well, he was using a spoon to eat it, but it kept coming out of his mouth because he was chomping so much.
Does he have a problem?
I don't think so.
With all due respect, like, huh?
I don't know. That's just how he is.
That's just how he is. How he is.
And then in his free time, he goes cycling.
All right. Oh, is he like also one of the? It's kind of funny, but so is he one of also the many people at Garmin who are fit freaks?
Everyone, at least on my team, is very into fitness because I'm on the fitness team. So yeah, he has a $1,000 bike that he goes and cycles with.
Jesus.
All the time.
It's like our team has that dynamic as well, except it's a bunch of fat people who have just lost weight because it's better for us, and now we go about living our lives. I don't know. It is interesting to kind of digest and look at the culture of individual groups and certain companies.
Definitely.
Yeah, like Garmin being all in fitness.
So, are we going to talk about games?
Yeah, let's talk about some games. Let's talk about first off the stuff that we both have things to talk about with, and that would be The Walking Dead season 1.
Isn't it great? We're like a year behind.
I know, right? Just as the season 2 is being talked about and announced. It's on the Steam page, isn't it? I can't remember. Is it out yet? Yeah, it's now episode 4 is now available of season 2. That's the
So
big one. So I felt like that game series suffered a lot of Mass Effectism.
how?
And let me elaborate. One being just kind of how jankiness, and I know Telltale has kind of had that with their games in the past. Like they're just kind of janky. They kind of approach this weird uncanny valley of, you have the motions that are so jarring while still having a pretty nice art style. But that wasn't even really the bigger. Oh, I'm sorry.
Telltale really, I don't know what's up with their tech team. They need to figure it out. Like,
Yeah, they need to get their shit together. No, the first episode was real bad though because they tried to have a bunch of moving camera angles, especially when you were coming out of the car after the wreck, and it hitched every time it made a screen transition every time.
yeah.
And that got a lot better as the series went on, but that was probably because they were more mindful of it because you didn't get as many of those dynamic camera angles,
Yeah.
shifting as much. So I think they did a good job with kind of trying to mitigate the jarriness, but one of my bigger things was how decisions that you made you could tell, and this is a little bit more of the masochism. This is actually the bigger part of it. Is you can tell that the story events were operating off of a counter, and what I mean by that was, and this is going to get into spoilers. So if someone decides to watch this, we're going to spoil the whole shit out of this because why not? It's a year-old. Play it. But specifically with Kenny, that man, I
I love
think
Kenny.
I like Kenny too. I think Kenny is a redeemable doofus. He has
Yeah.
his problems, but he is deep down in his heart, he's not really a bad guy. He's just really. But it was with that in that whenever a decision came up, I tried to be as good about that decision as possible with him in mind. Like the child in the attic, I had let him finish off Duck just because like it's his son and that's what he wanted. And I'm like, I'll let you do that. That's your thing.
Oh, wow. That's the opposite of what I did.
See, no, that was the opposite of what a lot of people did, and I just saw that. I saw I saw the percentages at the end, and it's like 30%, and you decided to have him kill Duck, and I'm like, you're a bunch of soft pussies because that's his son.
But
he.
But he had the redemption in the attic. I made him kill the other zombie.
See, no, we flipped it. We flipped it so hard. I let him kill his son, and then when he went to the attic, he's like, I can't do this, not again. I'm like, you don't have to do this, so I did it. But that was part of it, and then there were just parts where it's like I had done stuff that I basically didn't. Whenever he had his spats, I never sided against him. I know there was, I think in chapter 4 where he let off on Ben, and I chose the silent thing, and I'll get into that. I did X the whole time, but basically I felt like I was pretty neutral with him. And then the last part for chapter 5, when you get bit and you have to pick your posse to come, he's like, you haven't looked out for anybody but yourself, and I'm like, the fuck are you talking about, man? It was just really jarring how me and him seemed to be on good grounds, and then that for chapter 5, he was or episode 5, he was very much of, you're a selfish individual. I'm like, I don't know what the hell you got that from, but okay.
See, that's different from what he told me, because I had helped him a lot, and I didn't do the silent thing. He was just like, well, you've been for me and my family, and I guess that's where it really counts. I was like, yeah, and I had everyone come with me except for Ben because he was pissing me off.
Ben's a piece of shit. And
He's
no,
terrible.
Ben is another example of how I could tell it was operating off of a variable rather than an actual, like I don't think choices had very much weight to them, or if it did, it was very minor. Because I saved that fucker's life. I opted to go after him and save him when he was hanging from that bell, and he's like, "I don't want to go around where I'm not wanted." And
Yeah,
I'm like, you know what? Good. You stay in the fucking house, you piece of shit. It's
yeah,
not like
yeah,
I risked my life to save you.
yeah. I saved him, even though he's like, why? I was like, yeah, because you know why I saved you because you're the funniest, dumbest character in this game, and you just bring so much good comic relief because you ruin everything, but it's hilarious. Like
You are a
you
walking
can't
time
even
bomb.
zombie, and Clementine's like killing him, no problem, and you're just like,
Just some of the leaps they made, and some of like the especially with Ben, where he's like, "It was my fault, Katya and Duck
yeah,
had to die," and I'm like, "Wait a minute. Then by that logic, it's my fault because I brought you all along for the ride to begin with. Like, if we could go back and somehow attribute all of this to Adolf Hitler if we really wanted to. Like, where does it stop, Ben? I don't know. Just that part was kind of it was a little stretching for me. It's like I need to tell Kenny the truth. I'm like, what truth? Oh, what? The thing that doesn't really pertain to this other isolated event mostly? Like, it's a domino effect. We can start anywhere with this if we want. I don't know. That part kind of got under my skin, but that being said, I did enjoy the story beats and the decisions.
oh yeah. I pretty much any time where there was a big decision to be made, I was just on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I had to restrain myself a few times because I basically turned that game from a very serious based adventure to probably one of the funniest games of 2012, 2013 by just choosing the silent option the whole time.
God
I don't
damn it.
I don't know why. I don't know why that option is in that game because it doesn't make any sense. People will ask you questions and you'll just like pick silence and you'll just give the shrug or like your eyes will change. Like even though you're not saying anything, your facial expression will give a very definitive answer, so to speak. You know, sometimes you'll look angry, sometimes you'll look surprised, and so it kind of gives an answer, but it's just so funny because it doesn't work at all. People try to talk and you just won't say anything. And then when story beats happen, you'll start talking again. Like the hell is up with this? It doesn't make sense. Um, yeah, that I almost feel like they should have taken that out. I don't know,
Well,
like if you wanted to keep the tone consistent, because it was not adding anything for me.
now it's a thing. Like there are people that play the whole game that way. I didn't pick silence at all. I actually sometimes forgot it was even there.
See, I had to restrain though, because there were a few moments where it did kind of get to me, and I'm like, I need to say something. This is gonna go real rotten, and then I'm like, wait a minute. If this is like any other game with decisions ever, nothing's going to probably change, or if it does change, it's going to be so insignificant that it won't change my experience of the game. Like they're still gonna hit the major strides, the
Yeah.
emotional strides. So really, me choosing to say nothing in this situation will only probably affect this one diverging event, but we're all going to come back to the same spot. So but there were times though where I'm like, maybe I should hit Y, maybe I should hit A or B, and then I'm like, no, I'll hit X, keep hitting X, and then I did hit X, and I got shot a few times for it. So you can't always hit X.
Oh, geez,
That's what I
really?
learned. Yeah, it pissed me off. It was Vernon. When you encounter Vernon for the first time and all the cancer patients, if you choose to say
Yeah.
nothing, he will shoot you. You have to talk him down, which I thought was
Uh,
kind of weird, but I'm like, okay, fine. Whatever, I'll play your stupid game. I'll hit something else. So,
so you were playing it on PC, right?
right.
So I think it's amazing that that game has problems on every system. Like I was on PS3 and it was
hmm
hitching up like crazy. Pretty much any time that it would save, there would be a hitch.
Yeah, it was never that bad. Like with me, I think what I was saying, it was much worse early on because they tried to use those dynamic angles, and then they realized that wasn't gonna make it look good at all. So over time, it kind of became more panning shots. So the performance got a lot better, but it did have this weird issue where it occasionally go back to mouse controls. And when I was playing on a controller, and what would happen is I would hit, well, it would go back to mouse, so the speech options would be listed as a list instead of a button input. I had to move the stick to make it recognize it that it was a controller, and then I had to hit the button. So sometimes I would hit the answer button without moving the stick, and it would pick something completely different than what I wanted to. And there were also another few times, even with the control prompts up, the silent option, and then he would respond like "fuck you," and I'm like, "That's not what I wanted to hit, Lee. What? I don't understand." But I'm curious about some of the decisions you made. What were some of the big decisions you went with? Because I found myself going against the grain most of the time, and I'm like, "You guys are a bunch of soft idiots.
Well,
I don't like anyone."
like, what did you do with? Did you kill Larry, or did?
I think I let Kenny kill Larry.
You let him?
Yeah.
See, I tried to stop him, and then he just dropped the big thing on him, and then yeah.
See, yeah, that's one of those events where it's gonna happen. But yeah, no, I think it said when I went back to look at my decisions, it specifically said you let Kenny kill Larry, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, all right,
Mine was you, Kenny, from killing Larry.
okay, yeah, because sometimes it would express it in a way that I didn't necessarily agree with it. It's like that's not exactly what I said or did, but I guess if you want to characterize it as that. Yeah, what did you do about Lily? That crazy bitch. Yeah, I left her too. No, but the majority of people did not leave her.
She was the only character that ever killed anyone on purpose. And that's why I left her.
Yeah, or without like any like she the biggest motive she had was, oh, so and so is stealing the plot. I'm like, okay, but what good does that do us now? Like, don't. Yeah, no, 42% left her. A majority of people kept her. What?
I can't believe that.
I don't understand. I don't get it.
What's to stop her from killing someone else? Like,
I don't know. Yeah, it's just she was one of those people who claimed that, oh, I have my reasons for feeling this way. There won't be any conflict if people behave like decent human beings. Like, she just acted like it was always somebody else's fault that she was agitated. And even if she had a reason to be agitated, there was no reason for her to escalate it to the extent she did. She agitated, and then she proceeded to agitate it further, and that's what my problem with her was. She wouldn't let shit lie. She had to make it worse, in a way, Ugh, the whole thing. It was.
I was glad I left her because did you play the DLC?
No, I don't think I have the DLC.
Is it cool if I spoil just one little moment from it?
Go ahead, because knowing how much you had to egg me to get back into it and play this, it'll probably take an equal amount of effort to get me to ever play that DLC.
Well, it's really short and it has nothing to like it's all new characters, different story, no real connections except for one thing.
Lily.
If you left Lily,
yeah,
and she dies there, there's this one part where this guy that you're playing as slides like off the road, and he sees Lily's dead body laying there, and you get an achievement for it. You're like, oh, found an old friend.
An old friend. Jesus Christ, that game. It's so morbid.
Yep.
I kind of like it though. It's unapologetically morbid. It's like, no, it's gonna happen. If I were to pick a favorite episode, shit, it's a toss-up between 4 or 5. Those last 2 ones were really good, in my opinion. 3 was not doing it for me at all. I did not enjoy 3.
Which one was 3?
3 was the it started off with the motel, and then ended with you arriving via the train to Savannah.
Uh,
I
you
don't
know
know.
which one I agree with you that 4 and 5 are really good. You know which one I thought was the weakest, at least in my opinion?
Uh, are you gonna say 2?
Yeah, the cannibalism one. Because
Really?
I called it like 20 minutes in. I was like, these guys are
I mean,
cannibals.
we all knew it was gonna happen, but it's the reveal and the build-up, and it's just morbidly fascinating. Wow, that
It kills it for me
surprises
because
me.
I couldn't believe they weren't figuring it out. Because I figured it out so easily. Like it's so obvious.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where if you've ever exposed yourself to any amount of post-apocalyptic fiction, you could have seen it coming a mile away. I kind of get what you're saying. I appreciated the journey more than I did the destination on that one. I will give you that. Is like I just enjoyed like interacting with the people and then figuring out like, oh, they're horrible monsters. I mean, I knew they were horrible monsters, but it's just kind of seeing this character shift, of these
Yeah.
mundane people turn out to be these sick, twisted freaks. So yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from on that one. Uh, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the confrontation in with the stranger. I
Yeah.
thought that was really good. Of course, the one thing that made me it kind of killed my immersion a bit for no other reason than my own suspicions with the fact that he was listing off the shit that you have done, the
Mhm.
bad stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's actually really cool that they tied this all together. And then I thought of the alternatives to all those situations that I had done, and I'm like, you know what? You could probably make a solid argument that the other side of that would have been bad.
Oh
You
yeah.
know?
That's the same way I felt, and pretty much every time he mentioned something, I defended. I was like, yeah, that I felt like that was the right decision. Like I wasn't like, oh, I'm
Right.
sorry.
It was like the woman that you leave to die at the beginning of, I think it was 3, where you're like, you and Kenny are salvaging, and there's this woman who's running out from walkers, and she's screaming, and you have the choice to either put her out of her misery because she got bit, or to just ignore her and use her as kind of a decoy. And he's like, yeah, you left this woman to die. And I'm like, if I would have shot her, you would have said something about that as well. And it was then I knew it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
this
yeah.
doesn't
I
really
shot her.
matter.
I shot her.
Oh, and he got upset about that.
He's like, you shot her. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and guess what? I didn't shoot her because she had already gotten bitten, and I'm like, this is no good for anybody if I shoot her. Like, I'll put her out of her misery, and then I'm going to be miserable real fast. So, and he said that was a bad thing. So that kind of took me out of it a bit. But at the same time, I still thought it all kind of accumulated, and they didn't have to have some epic like the building is on fire and we're gonna duke it out
Yeah.
in fisticuffs. It was like this is this quiet room and I am this insane piece of shit with a zombie head in my bag. Like it was just a lot more calm and somehow I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, I really like how it ended. Makes me really excited to play season 2, but I refuse to play it until all the episodes are out because I feel like they're gonna have another sale like they did last year. Because I picked up the entire season and the DLC on PS3 for $5. I was like,
Oh yeah.
if I could get that kind of deal again, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, like I was just playing that game. Like I have taken a break from it for about 6 odd months. I forgot everything that
Oh
happened in
yeah,
episode 1 and 2. Like I could not remember. Like when they told me about how I had like wronged Lenny Larry, that guy. They're like, yeah,
yeah.
you don't even mention what Lee did about Larry or Lenny, and I'm like, who the fuck is that? What? Was that? And then I'm trying to remember all the people who have died. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. Is that the guy with the heart pills? I don't even know. So, and that's kind of why I don't like this episode. I mean, I know they release a lot more frequently than 6 months, but still, it's not like a season of TV where each week you have these events happening in like 3 months or 2 months or something. Like
Yeah.
it's a little bit
That,
harder to follow.
that's why I'm waiting for them all to be out, and I'll just play like one a day
Yeah.
for like a week.
That's the smart decision.
Which, by the way,
Yeah.
that's what I did, and I got my fastest platinum 5 days.
I looked at those trophies and I was furious. I'm like,
You
I
can't
had
miss
to.
them. You can't miss them.
No. Well, you corrected me about how there were actual chapters in the episodes, and I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? And I looked up your trophies, and I'm like, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Like, because here's the thing, on PC, I have no way of knowing if I've transitioned into a chapter, because I don't have that obnoxious ping that goes up in the corner.
Yeah.
My roommate has already played it, so I don't see the Steam achievements for it because he used my copy. So there was no way for me to know where I was in any of that. So that explains a lot. But yeah, no, I was just looking at it, like, you just have to play the game. There's no. I'm surprised they don't have achievements for like play the story and have Ben come along with you at the end or go it alone at the end. Like I'm glad they don't. It's like 40% platinum completion. It might even be 50%. I looked this up. I looked this shit up, and I'm like, what? It's not fair.
If you finish the game, you will get the platinum.
Yeah, no. There's no way to miss it. I don't know.
Made me happy.
Yeah, no, like, I almost thought about, like, not even playing on PC and buying it full price on PS3. It's like, fuck. And I thought about the technical issues that on my PC at the beginning of the game, and I'm like, I'd rather just do it on PC. I don't even care anymore.
Definitely
I don't want to
with the PC.
Yeah, I don't want to play the first 2 chapters again. I looked up the time that it took you to get each trophy, and I'm like, so it's like 2 hours per chapter. So I'm just gonna play this all like last night. Like I just played the last 3 last night. It's like I can breeze through this, and I did. So at least it was consistent in time, but what did you decide to do with Lee at the end? I'm curious about this.
What do you mean?
The last decision you actually have to make in that game.
Like, what did I tell her?
What did you do about Lee? Did you let him turn?
Oh, no. No, I didn't.
You shot him?
Yeah, I shot him.
The fuck is wrong with you people? You're all either really...
He's my best buddy.
So you want a 9-year-old girl to live with the fact that she had to kill one of her best friends through the zombie apocalypse? What is your justification?
It's the only way that she'll be a badass in season 2.
You say this...
A hard-edged badass because of that decision.
She's gonna be 9! Like, you can't be a badass at 9!
In season 2, she's a teenager.
For God... I looked at the decisions. 30% of people agreed with me. 70% of people thought it would be a great idea to have Clementine kill Lee. I don't understand. No, she doesn't. But no, it's not even it's not a good or a bad decision. Like, it's one of these. He just turns into a zombie and he's handcuffed to a a radiator? Like, that's the worst thing. Like,
I feel like if you don't kill him, there might be something in season 2 where he comes back and like does some random bullshit.
That would be great, a cameo appearance.
I guess I didn't want to have, you know how like when you are in that part of the city and Clementine sees her parents, I didn't want to have that. I didn't want to have her go through that kind of thing with Lee.
So like, you'd rather have her shoot him point blank?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Seeing him a zombie versus seeing him dead by your own hand?
Yep.
I don't...
I gotta make her stronger.
Wait a minute. So wait, you say you wanted her to kill him as sort of a rite of passage for her being a badass.
Not even as a rite of passage, just to make her stronger so that way she can survive.
Well, make her stronger to survive. Tomato, tomato. So, what about the stranger? Did Lee kill him? Did you have Lee kill the stranger?
I didn't kill him.
You didn't. So Clementine shot him.
Wait, what? Is that what the options were?
There were, yeah. You could either have killed him yourself, because no matter what Clementine does at the beginning, she's not going to kill him. You're going to get into that scuffle. but I think if you fail enough times or something, she will shoot him.
Oh,
She will
okay.
pull out a pistol.
Then I killed him. Then I killed him.
Okay, see, this is probably the difference because Clementine shot that motherfucker. I had Clementine shoot that motherfucker. Well, I didn't have her. She just did it. It was one of those things where it's like, oh no, I'm about to get stabbed, and then he just keels over, and it's like, oh, where did that come from? Oh, it was Clementine. It was one of those things. This might be the deciding difference between everyone who chose that last option.
Wait. Now, I'm sorry. I'm not remembering properly. Yeah. Was it like, oh, you're about to die, and then she shoots him?
I mean, yes.
Okay, then yeah, she shot him in mine too.
So you're just doubling up.
Yeah.
Peter, she's killed 2 people. Or she's killed a person and a few zombies, I believe.
Yeah, she killed.
Why did she have to kill Lee? Why would you do this?
Because it teaches her that she not only has to kill people that she's afraid of, but also people that she loves.
Does she? Oh, maybe. Damn it. I don't even know. There were a few really unintentionally funny parts to that whole thing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the whole game. My favorite, well, 2 of my favorites. The first one was on the train. I couldn't convince me to stop so that Katya could pull over and do what she needed to her son. I didn't do that the first time because I decided to be silent. I got back to the train car where they were at. Everyone was missing, and then you just see this small kid walking around, arms flailing, like rah, 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 and then he just starts attacking you. And I'm like, it's this small pipsqueak child. Like, I'm a big old man. Why do you mean I can't handle this? Like, I just thought like the animation to it was really funny. And another part was the whole cutting off your arm to prevent the infection.
I did that.
I did it too, but when I think about it, that was really dumb. Like, let's think of it this way. He's having dizzy spells because he's infected, alright? So let's cut off his arm, not cauterize the wound, have him potentially lose a lot of blood, and now he's getting dizzy spells from blood loss and shock, and probably, maybe, possibly also the infection. Like,
yeah,
I've been...
That's why I cut it off, because I was like, no matter what, it's clearly he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, either way, I just wanted to see him cut his arm off.
That's how that was my motivation. Like, the option was no way or fuck it, let's cut it off, and that's exactly how I felt. I'm like, this is stupid. Fuck it, let's just do it. I know this isn't gonna work. Like, this is dumb. Why are we doing this?
And they do this thing, like in every Walking Dead episode, whenever there's some sort of like limbs being chopped off, they always make it excruciatingly long. It's always like 2 extra chops than you ever thought would have had to happen to get the thing off, you know? Like, it's not off yet, what's going on? Like,
it's just that whole thing. Like, I didn't think about it much at the time, but then when I really started to think about it, I'm like, what are the trade-offs to this? Because both of them seem equally bad, so I don't know why we even went through this. Like, it just... Yeah, it was weird. But so, I want to know what would have happened if you chose not to cut off his arm. Because that becomes... I mean, that's a major point. Yeah, they still cut off his arm?
Oh, I know. I think you have your arm, but you still turn to a zombie in the end.
Well, no, I believe that, but there were just a lot of points where they like, unlike so many other decisions you make, that was one of the few decisions where I feel like they kept bringing it back up as a point. And that's what I thought was interesting. Like, with the ladder climbing for one, like, a lot of interaction with ladders.
I feel like it would just been replaced with, instead of like, oh, why are we having the guy with one arm do it? It'd be just like, why are we letting the guy that's infected do it? Like, you know, that kind of thing. Because all those animations that you do,
yeah,
you'll notice that he's still moving his arm like he had an arm. So
really?
He just did one set of animations and just removed that part of his arm off. But he still moves his arm as if he has an arm, but it's just not there.
Huh.
Like, if you notice, I started noticing, I'm like, you don't need to move your left arm when you're climbing a ladder with one arm, but he's still moving it. So
Well, kudos on them because I actually, now that I really think about it, I did not pick up on that. So I was thinking more so along the lines of just some of his interaction with like picking stuff up. But that would have, yeah, that was pretty much that was good on them. I did not actually pick up on that, so they win that. They win that point. Uh, I thought it was really weird though when I was climbing up the ladder for the first time without my arm, and it's like you
Yeah.
use the left stick to go up the ladder, and I'm like, wait, is this going to turn into a left hand, right hand sort of bullshit thing? Because I chose the left stick because that's the stick I use to move. Like I don't know why all of a sudden I'm using the other stick to move, and that kind of irritated me because it's like this better not screw me up because yeah, because his hand is his left hand is the one that, or is it his right? I forget. It's the left hand that's cut off. So
Yeah.
it's like if I'm going to lose functionality with the left stick, or if it's going to swap stuff on me, I'm going to be very upset. And I'm
Hmm.
glad they. I don't.
It didn't swap for me, so I don't.
Yeah, they didn't do anything. No, they didn't do anything for me either. But just the fact that they had it set it up in the corner of, oh, you used your left stick to climb up the ladder. I'm like, yeah. Why? What is this? What are you getting at, game? Where is this going? And all of a sudden, my axes were inverted,
Oh,
and I
jeez.
wanted to kill myself. Thank
So
God.
speaking of inverted axes,
Oh no.
I've also been playing through the 3D Prince of Persia games that were, PS2 Xbox generation, but got re-released.
I do those hold up at all to you?
So they all have inverted controls by default, but you can swap them, which is kind of weird. But the
What a time
first
we live
one,
in.
the first one, I really like. Sands of Time, had a good time with it. I definitely
Mm-hmm.
recommend playing it. I'm doing the twin, not the, is it Two Thrones? I get mixed up with Twin
Mm-hmm.
Towers. Two Thrones, and that game has a lot of problems. It
What
looks
are the
better.
problems?
The checkpoints make no sense,
Really?
and it just gets really hard all of a sudden. So there'll be checkpoints where it's like literally 30 seconds between the checkpoint, and then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden there's this checkpoint that it's 30 minutes to the next checkpoint, and I died 15 times trying to get to the next checkpoint because it got hard all of a sudden. I don't. I got past it, but it was really frustrating. I was like, "What is? Why is it so sporadic?" To where like, all for a while, I was just like, "Checkpoint, checkpoint, checkpoint, checkpoint," and then no checkpoints forever.
Huh.
And it
Yeah,
wasn't
I'm look.
like, this is one encounter. It was like, you gotta get through these three encounters, no checkpoints. It was really weird. I didn't understand.
Yeah, I'm looking at this game now. Just I'm comparing scores to it, and yeah, it looks like Sands of Times was deeply beloved, and then Two Thrones was a piece of hot shit. Relatively speaking, it still got like it got solid B minuses across the board, but it was
Yeah,
not. It was made
but
by Casablanca.
I still like it. It just it has some issues.
Wasn't that was that not a trilogy? Was there a third game?
Yeah, there was a third one called Warrior Within, so hopefully I'll be able to play that one too. I got all three on disc.
On disc, is this a collection or what is this?
It's a
I mean,
collection.
on PS3 of the ports.
I think it's on everything.
Well, yeah, but I mean for like this previous generation consoles or
Yes, yes.
this current transitional period that we are still in after a year.
I called them previous generation because the current generation's been out for a year.
Yeah. No, no, it's a fair assessment. It's still pretty weird though because I've been spending so much time on my PS3 lately that
Me too.
I still wouldn't know that a PS4 is out other than other than Destiny because everyone's been talking to me and asking me if I've been playing Destiny and I'm like I almost don't want to play it on a PS3. I kind of don't want to.
It holds up well. It actually runs well on
Does
PS3.
it?
Did you see the oh geez, what are they called?
Eurogamer?
Yeah, the Digital Foundry
Yeah.
comparison. Like, and I've been playing it too. It runs at a solid frame rate. Like, it runs good and it looks
Solid
good.
30 FPS.
Yeah, on PS3, and it looks pretty good for a PS3 game. I played it. I played it up to level 5.
Huh.
So,
Yeah, I'm looking at these, trying to look at comparison shots now. Yeah, they have the PS3, PS4 comparison. That's actually exactly what I need. All right, yeah, no, I mean, PS4, there's a noticeable difference, but it doesn't. It's not offensive. It doesn't
Yeah.
look offensive on previous generation.
Yeah, I'm
Huh.
just happy that it runs well because usually a lot of, like with Watch Dogs, they match the visuals pretty closely, but then it runs at like 15 frames per second.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know why I've been so hesitant to jump into this. Like, the hype is real,
Well,
but
it's too late now.
I mean, yeah, now it's kind of too late.
Well,
But I know my.
the beta ends in like 3 hours.
Oh, there's still time. There's still time. No, no, yeah, it was a. I don't know. Like, I never played Watch Dogs, but Watch Dogs was one of those games where I saw it when it was first being announced, and I'm like, this looks like another GTA clone with some gimmicks. So I wasn't too big into that, and everyone else was like masturbating furiously to it. And then it came out, and everyone's like, this is a GTA clone. And I'm like, well, no shit. Like, what did you expect? And
Yeah.
everyone's like, I don't know. And so now I'm kind of getting this vibe from Destiny in that it looks kind of like a Borderlands Halo hybrid. And I'm like, I appreciate Borderlands, and I appreciate Halo, and both of them are good games. But unfortunately, mostly with Borderlands, is I could not hang out with it forever. It felt too much like a single player MMO with some co-op elements, and I couldn't really enjoy it.
Well, I'll tell you
And,
what, Destiny goes even further than Borderlands does as far as like the MMO stuff. Like, I think I wouldn't even. I mean, it's like Borderlands, but I'd say more so. It's just a Halo MMO. Like that's what it is.
mm-hmm,
Because you go into these lobbies and there's just hundreds of people just walking around, and you can pair up for missions and stuff. And every time
mm-hmm.
you go on a mission, there's 4 other dudes there. It's like it's just an MMO.
And see, yeah, that sounds pretty interesting, but it's one of those things where I can see a game and I can say, "Oh, that looks pretty good," but I'm not gonna play it. And I have that happen with me a lot, where I can recognize something as being a good game, but I can't enjoy it. Minecraft is one of those things. I almost bought Minecraft. I almost bought the game, and
I
then
I had I had to buy it because Sydney plays it a lot and she wanted to play it, and I can't. I can barely play that game. I don't understand why everything has to be so cryptic.
Are you
Like,
are you playing it on the PC?
yeah, I'm on PC.
Yeah, that's why. The PS, the PlayStation one's all right because it actually gives you the templates and well, you
Unfortunately,
build stuff.
Sydney doesn't have a PlayStation, so
Yeah, but see now I don't know. Like if I could get people to play, then maybe I would enjoy it a little bit more. But I just know every time I jump in, like I see stuff, I get motivated, I get ready, and then I get into it, and I'm like, I'm not having fun. Like I'm not enjoying this. Like this game looks conceptually, it's great, and I see what people can do with it, and I'm really excited about those things. But I myself cannot enjoy the mundane starting point to get there. You know, I'm ready to jump in.
it's such a you have to climb a big wall to get to where everyone else is, and it's just like
Hmm.
can't I just automatically be able to build things instead of having to explore for 30 hours?
It's a real paradox because building up to that is arguably part of the fun, but it's also so boring.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's but anyway. To bring it all back in, that's just kind of how I feel about Destiny. It's like this looks conceptually great, and I'll go around with it eventually, but it's not about the game that draws me. Nothing in particular. The ideas as a whole are solid, but not necessarily what I'm looking for at the moment.
Honestly, as you know, I don't like really play shooters and I don't play MMOs. So
Yeah.
obviously that's not the draw for me. For me, like the art is awesome and the
Mhm.
music is awesome. I don't know. There's something about it that really draws me in. When I'm playing it, I'm like, the gameplay, it's not my style. But every time that they play some musical score or I see some new baddie, I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. That's a cool design.
It's
Like
not just generic gunmen you're fighting the whole time. They actually kind of mix it
exactly.
up a bit.
And I've been trying to play through Battlefield 3, and that's all like generic.
Eh. Battlefield 3 is no good single player. Like, yeah, that what you're saying is the exact problems I have with the Battlefield franchises, or single player, is that it's just so generic and they draw out the level so long. It still amazes me that you played Bad Company single player, because as entertaining as it was in some spots, it's just the gameplay is so boring.
I like
Numbs my
Bad Company.
skull. Well, I mean, Bad Company has a good story, but there are just long stretches of nothing in that game. Of
Yeah.
just shoot, generic Russian bad guy. It's like, ugh. Yeah, I will probably buy Destiny for my PS4 at some point in time. Hopefully closer to release
Gonna get that
than most
special
games. No, no, don't get. I got a special edition once, and they didn't give me the actual special edition, so I pirated the soundtrack because that's bullshit, man.
What?
I
What?
ordered
Oh.
I ordered a Black Armored Edition Dark Souls 2 on Amazon, got the regular one in the mail. The receipt said Black Armored Edition. That is the pre-order one, and I did not get it. And it includes the soundtrack and an aluminum case, and I did not get either of those things. So
You
I
complained
took.
to them?
I'm sorry?
Did you complain? Did you get someone on this?
Well, it took about a week to get there. The post office missed me because one of the people who I'm roommates with orders a lot of stuff through, like, they have these clothes services where people can swap clothes and stuff, and she had filled up our mailbox, and so the post office refused to deliver it to me, and I had to go to the post office to get it, and they have horrible hours, and it was one of those things where, being a college student without a car, I'm like, you know what, this would cost me the same if I bought it elsewhere, and honestly, the aluminum case is not going to fit well on my shelf. So it was one of those things where I was just willing to swallow it because I didn't pay a premium for it. It was still $60 like the game itself,
Yeah.
and who needs a soundtrack on a disc? Like, nobody. So I just decided I swallowed it, and I just, like, whatever. I'm gonna play this game anyway. That's what I really want. So, yep. So, yeah, Destiny. Is that coming out in September? Is that the plan?
I thought it was October, November. Not. It's not. It's definitely not September.
All right. Then that may have been a delay thing that I just decided to never actually look up. Release date. Release date. Bungie confirmed September 9, 2014 release date for Destiny.
Really?
Oh, that was in December 6, 2013. So hell if I know if that's true or not. No, it's still 9th. It's still September 9th, according to Wikipedia.
That's weird.
Awesome.
I guess they're trying to get ahead of the Call of Duty because Call of Duty usually owns November.
I don't think Destiny is that scared of Call of Duty. I mean, like, I can understand the fear, but it's Activision, so maybe that's why it's coming out earlier.
Yeah.
They don't want to double up. They don't want to ruin sales. I mean, yeah, if you released it in December, you still have that wave of Call of Duty, like, it's still occupying the market. I'm sure if they wanted to release it within 2 months of Call of Duty, and so they probably figured it'd be better to go early than late, because otherwise you're just going to have a spring release, and Bungie don't play that. Bungie don't play that spring release.
You know how good it feels to have Bungie be multi-platform now? It feels really good.
Feels alright. Yeah, like, I've never been huge on the Halo series, but I'm glad that we can finally get their talent elsewhere, outside of Xbox.
Yeah. Makes me happy.
Yeah.
Even though I own an Xbox, but whatever.
I mean, whatever. I mean, yeah, no, it does feel good. Now if we can get fucking Demon Souls everywhere, Demon Souls 2, please, Sony. Please. Yeah. I've been playing some new stuff too. New stuff. I got the Dark Souls 2 DLC. And fuck that fucking game. Fuck that game. God damn it. That DLC it puts you in a very false sense of security. I've played that game a lot. I know how to kind of play it the hard way, the right way, and be pretty good at it. The hard way and the right way being melee, because a lot of people have this really severe irrational disdain for magic because they see it as cheesy. Um, but they patched that. They've made magic less cheesy now, so I decided to go back to an older melee build. And so the game opens up where you're fighting a bunch of kind of like melee guys on this high rising. You're in a cave, but it's a very large vertical cave, and there's a lot of kind of interweaving stone stairwells. And so you're fighting a lot of kind of small fodder enemies that are pretty easy to get rid of, and it's the gravity that kills the soul instead of the actual enemies. And so I got through that no problem because I'm not a dumbass and I don't fall off ledges. And then I got inside, and then they just started throwing like 5 enemies at me at once. And some of the enemies you can't even hurt. You have to find their dead actual, like they'll be ghosts, and you have to find their dead actual bodies and destroy those bodies. And then the ghosts will become killable. I don't know why. I don't know. It's yeah, and then I got invaded by an NPC who uses a bunch of fire, and this also kills the soul, and I died very fast. So I don't know. I haven't played too much of it. I haven't gotten to any bosses yet. It's a lot. It's really pretty. I think Dark Souls 2 as a whole is a very pretty game, and I don't know. It's good to have a reason to go back. I platinumed that game not too long ago. It's pretty easy to platinum, so it was fun. It's fun. I think it's better than Dark Souls, and that would get probably a lot of people on my ass.
Yeah. Are people like upset that the second one isn't as difficult or something?
People are upset about everything. Here's the thing. I'm going to continue to piss off a lot of people because this is going to be a very sweeping generalization. It doesn't apply to everyone. But I feel like the Dark Souls community is a bunch of really bad video game players who like to think themselves good video game players, and they use Dark Souls as justification for saying that they're actually any good. What I mean by that is they overhype the difficulty and they die a lot, and they tell other people how much they're gonna die, when in actuality Dark Souls is just as hard as any other game. The death mechanic, the problem is people look at the Dark Souls death mechanic and they'll say, oh, I died a lot, this game must be hard. No, the death in Dark Souls is much more akin to Super Meat Boy. You're supposed to die, it gets you back in the game real quick, and then you can just keep chugging. Yeah. That's what Dark Souls is like. But people want to say, oh no, it's more like a game over, you lose. No, that's not how the game characterizes it, and that's not how it treats it. So people use that metric to judge how difficult it is, but it's not. And I don't know. People who play Dark Souls, I also feel, are so on board the hype train that they do a very bad job of articulating themselves when it comes to certain aspects of the game. Like you're saying, with difficulty. People are complaining that the game isn't as difficult. And yes, there isn't, to an extent that's true. That's because it hasn't been patched significantly until recently. Before, you could kind of cakewalk through that game with magic because they actually made magic a thing. Before, magic existed, but it was in very limited supply, kind of harder to acquire and a little bit slower, so it wasn't worthwhile. They've made it now where you can have entire characters who just use magic and not actually use weapons, which is good and bad. The good being, fuck using weapons. I want to throw a lightning bolt at someone at some point in time and enjoy it. But the other aspect being that it's just more plentiful, and it's just does more damage. But so they had to balance it, so it's gotten a little bit more tricky. But I guess the thing is, people like to characterize Dark Souls as tough but fair, and I don't really agree with that mantra, because Dark Souls has a lot of fucking bullshit in it. Enemies that have way more stamina, way more health, and can just stun lock you to death, and there's really nothing you can do about it. There are other parts where enemies can have, like, you have to be a certain distance to an enemy before you can lock on to them. And there are some enemies who can hit you from across the map. Uh, Arrows home in on you, like actual quiver arrows home in on you, which is nonsense. Like that doesn't make any sense. You you can home in on enemies with arrows, but you have to be a lot closer for it to work. I don't know. It's the thing about Dark Souls 2 though that I think just pisses a lot of people off now is that the level design isn't as good, which I can kind of agree with. The first Dark Souls was a very big environment and it was very interconnected, but it did a good job of disorienting you so that one moment you were walking through a city and then you would go down into a hole and then you would wind up someplace that you knew you had been before, but you had never gotten there through that particular route. So it was very kind of, it was a web. And this one's a lot more linear, and that has a lot of people upset. And I can kind of understand why, but as a game, it plays so much better. It's just more of a game. I enjoy it a lot more. You know, it doesn't take itself as seriously, which is something I think Dark Souls seriously needs to do because the community is fucking batshit insane. Like, they have this really weird honor system about themselves. PvP, person versus person, has never been a highlight of Dark Souls, but they decided that they would make it a little bit more of a highlight in this game, and now people have this really weird honor system where if you're not level 150, then they'll hate you. Like, I'm level 250 right now. I'm 100 levels over this arbitrary line that people have set. So if I go into PvP and start wrecking shit, people are going to get mad. Because they've all collectively decided that 150 is where they'll stop leveling, and anyone above that is just like noob trash. And I don't understand why.
That's so weird.
Yeah, people get really offended by certain things. There's also armor in the game called Havel's armor, and it's notorious for being very heavy, but very, like, you do not get stunned. You can just keep chopping away, and nothing will stop you. People bitch constantly about the existence of not necessarily the armor, but people who use the armor. They hate people. They see someone in Havel's, and they're like, get good. Like, you fucking suck. And it's just so funny because you see all these people complaining about how they need to nerf this armor set or they need to get rid of these people who use this armor instead of trying to change their strategies to counter that armor. Like, it's just really weird. Everyone is so high on the horse of I need to be able to roll everywhere all the time and roll out of the way of attacks because it uses more skill. And I just think it's dumb. Like, if you had any skill, you could easily dispatch of someone wearing heavy armor. I don't know. It's just a lot of little stuff like that crawls under my skin. The community of Dark Souls is very reminiscent of games that kind of draw that hardcore crowd that you don't ever want to talk about. SOCOM would be a good example. Zipper. Those games. You know, you get people who are really good at it, and they just kind of like get pissed off with people who aren't as good. That's how I feel Dark Souls is with PvP. If you try to do anything to level the playing field, they'll view it as you not exhibiting much skill, and from that kind of makes they don't like you. I don't know. I mean, it's really weird, but I think Dark Souls 2 is kind of a better game overall. Dark Souls 1 certainly had its mystique about it. But at the end of the day, both of those games kind of suck because Demon Souls is where it's at, man. Demon Souls is, in my opinion, no one will probably agree with me, but I think Demon Souls is the best Souls game. And that's because it takes elements of Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 1 and mashes it together in this nice, chunky mess. I'm just glad I got.
I think there actually are quite a few people that like Demon Souls.
Oh yeah, no, a lot of people like Demon Souls, but because Demon Souls never because it was a Sony only game, no one talks about it. Whereas Dark Souls has become this like super hyped up thing that everyone has just discovered. It's just it's kind of like Final Fantasy VII. You know, how everyone says how Final Fantasy VII was their favorite, and then you ask them about Final Fantasy 1 through 6, and no one knows anything about those games because no one ever owned those games growing up. And so because of it, they have this very skewed perception of what the series should be because they've only played this like narrow category of games. And turns out that they are, in fact, the least knowledgeable of what the series should be. And that's kind of how I feel about Dark Souls in a way. Like Dark Souls 1 or Demon Souls had, you lost when you died, you permanently would, well, you would lose, your level would be capped. You would lose your max health until you beat a boss. You know, they did all kinds of things to punish you. Dark Souls kind of took that away and added some new stuff to it. Dark Souls 2 is more like Demon Souls than Dark Souls. So when people play Dark Souls 2, they constantly complain about these new additions to the game, which in actuality existed in some form or another in Demon Souls to begin with. And it's just really kind of amusing to see them say, oh, this is too hard now, or oh, this is too easy, or oh, this level design is stupid. And I'm like, this has always been here, man, in some form or another. So quit your bitching.
Yeah, that's it. I can totally relate to that because there's plenty of games where people are like, "Oh, why did they change this?" Blah blah. It's like, no, they changed it for that version that you started at, but back in the day, it was this way.
Yeah, and that's not to say that some of their complaints aren't valid. Like some stuff about Demon Souls is kind of dumb, but it's still just really amusing to me, and I just find it interesting because you have this whole community that's collected around this one game, and now are making not demands, but they're making criticisms of the other games in the series when there are people who have started in this other, more the more pure version of the game, and who are now like, wait a minute, where did you guys come from, and what are you saying? Like, I don't know. It's fun, though. I still really enjoy the game. So I've platinumed Dark Souls 2, I've platinumed Demon Souls, and I'm on my way to platinuming Dark Souls 1. So hopefully I can platinum all the Souls games by the end of this week. I might be able to do it by Wednesday. It wouldn't be that difficult. I enjoy it. That's what I've been up to. Also Mario Golf. I figured out why that game is good.
Why?
The tournaments I had been playing, the online ones, were Nintendo sponsored. So they were open to everybody, and there was big cash pools and stuff, and that's great. But I didn't realize that you could join other people's tournaments, that they were hosting themselves. Like if I wanted to start a tournament, I could do so, and then other people can join. And the cool thing about this is there are a lot of switches to turn on. Like it's like Super Smash Bros. Level of, we can put coins on the course, or we can give them items to make the ball do crazy things, and we can mix it up a bit. Like it's a little bit more varied, and you still get coins from it, which you can use to unlock upgrades. So
what options do you use? Are you like a purist, like, you know, no items, play on that?
I have not hosted a tournament, but I prefer the purist. Yeah, no, the first one I jumped into was a points match. Just a stroke match tournament play, like regular vanilla, because that's what it was described as. I got on the first hole, and it says you now have 10 of each item to use. And there are coins everywhere on the course. I'm like, what mode is this? I don't understand what happened here. Turns out they flipped those switches on, so I'm still playing tournament play, but now I have this stuff at my disposal to use if I choose it. Which, I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's a cool addition. But yeah, I prefer vanilla. But yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I enjoy that they kind of have that in there, and it makes it a little bit more party-friendly. Also, the fact that I can host my tournament, and if you wanted to join it, you could join it any time in the week that it was going on. So, I mean, that's kind of cool that you can still kind of have that competition with your friends or have randoms join. But I don't know. It's cool. I think the reason why I have kind of an issue with anything that's not vanilla is just because I don't fully understand how all of the items work. And the tracking of the ball movement, you know how you have the arch and stuff like that, of where the ball's going to go, it's not that good with the items. Like, it doesn't advertise the items as how they're going to work. Like, one item is a bullet bill. So what it does is you hit it up in the air, it goes up maybe a couple of tens of feet, and then it'll just go straight. And it'll just keep going straight, and then it'll stop almost on a dime at a certain point, depending on how hard you hit the ball. Problem is, the curve it shows makes it seem like it's going to just fly like a regular ball, which I don't want that, because that's not a very good. It doesn't give me a good understanding of the trajectory of the ball, or if it's going to hit an obstacle. If I hit a tree or something, and then I'm done. So yeah, so I mean that's kind of like why I'm a little bit more hesitant about items. But overall, though, the idea that I could theoretically play 10 tournaments and then just sit and wait and reap in a bunch of coins at the end of it, I think it's pretty fun. I think it's a good feature to have that kind of passive multiplayer. It kind of mixes the best of both worlds, for Nintendo especially. Yeah, it's not a bad game. I'm not going to be playing much more of it, though, because I've kind of done everything. I haven't unlocked everything, but I really don't have a reason to. Because everything I keep unlocking is worse than the stuff I have.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
annoying.
this was another thing where there was this severe disconnect with me and the general fans of the series. Everyone was glad to see the RPG elements go, and it's kind of bumming me out because the equipment they offer all kinds of equipment, but there's only like 3 different stat changes to all of them. If like shirts, for example, there'll be like maybe 40 different shirts. You got your Chain Chomp shirt, your Luigi shirt, your Mario shirt, all that stuff. But there's still like a third of the shirts, all of them will raise your distance by 5 yards. Another third of the shirts will raise your control by 1, and then the last third of the shirts will raise your sweet spot by 1, and that's it. Like they don't get crazy. It's very safe and very almost too balanced. It's very watered down, such that I've tried to get my driving distance as high as I can, and there just comes a point where I can't because all of the other equipment boosts my distance by the same amount. So I don't know. It's an interesting game. I enjoy it. I would have liked to get a little bit more play out of it, but I don't know. It's the only thing I have left to do is collect the moon medals. Like you have a bunch of challenges on each course, which are called these sun medal things, and then there are various challenges like hit it through all the rings, collect a certain amount of coins, so on and so forth. And now the moon ones are just like stupid hard, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. That's really hard. It's too hard. It's not fun anymore. It's past the point of being fun. So
Yeah. Someday I'll play that game.
yeah.
I haven't been playing my 3DS that much ever since I started summer. I feel like I play it more when I'm at college. I'm actually like walking around, but here it's just I go to work, I come home. Go to work, I come home.
I play it more in the summer, but that's because I have like a 3-hour round trip bus commute.
Yeah.
All
See,
that's yeah,
it takes me
and
10 minutes to get to work.
I kind of envy you. I guess you see some fun stuff on the bus though, but yeah, at school I never do it because I don't I listen to music when I walk to class, and when I get home, it's like, do I play my 3DS or do I play my PS3, PS4? And that's kind of a no-brainer
Yeah.
because I just chew through my 3DS games. Like I just get through them so fast. It's amazing what dedicating 3 hours a day to a game, how fast you'll complete it.
So is this it? Is this the pod? Is this the end of the? Is this even
How
a
long?
show? Is this a
How long have
podcast? Is it a show? What the hell is this?
I don't really want to release video. Not really for any reason in particular, other than I'm like the least interesting thing to look at.
Well, the thing is,
Uh,
it's already being archived as a video.
is it?
Like,
So there's.
as we speak, it's auto archiving.
What happens if we were to both turn off our cameras?
Then it would just be blank screen with like it would look like show you.
Surely there is a plugin for this where we can just record audio, right?
Oh yeah, I mean we could just do it this way. It would just look like this. It would just be my icon.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's not for. I mean, at this point, if we're doing a video, we might as well have our faces. It's just one of those things where, sure, there are there plugins for Hangout. Surely there are plugins. Like I'm looking at all this shit.
There are so many. There are so many.
There has to be one for just capturing audio. I'm looking this up.
I mean, what do you want to do? What do you want to do with it? Like make like a podcast feed with it or something?
I think that
because we can keep the video up on YouTube and just pull out the audio for the podcast feed.
I mean, yeah, we could do that too. Personally, I wouldn't just mind just having a feed. I feel like a video is just kind of superfluous. It takes up too much space, and it's not interesting enough to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we can do it both ways. We could release a video and then have a feed, and then I can like post that or Tumblrize that, or you know.
Well, I'm gonna have to look into how even make a podcast feed because I don't know. I have to figure it out.
Oh, you make a podcast? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it can't be that difficult. I would hope. Yeah. Maybe.
Hopefully, it's not expensive or hopefully it's just free. Hopefully, there's a free option.
I bet you there is a way to do it free open source maybe. Like I set up a media server just recently and I use software for it, but I was told by my uncle, who is just my dad's friend, that he set up his using Tomcat. And I'm not 100% sure the difference between a feed and just a media server is, but if they're very similar, you could probably do it that way. That sounds a little bit... Tomcat, though, has a lot of moving parts, and personally it scares me.
Oh yeah, we use Tomcat at work. We use Tomcat and 2 instances of JBoss.
That's just... yeah, like... it's just a lot of things can break. But I guess if it works, it works. So as long as we have something that hosts it that's running, it would work. Or we could just post it to our Tumblrs or something. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. But I think we're reaching the end here.
Wait, hang on. There was something I was just about to say with regards to audio. Damn it. It was on the tip of my tongue. Let me stall a little bit more. How's
my mic been doing? Has it been pretty okay or bad or what?
It's good enough. It is good enough. I can understand it, and I'm sure if you do post-process.
So.
Yeah, I mean, once you can extract the audio and then do some stuff, like it just, I'm not sure how mine sounds, but yours just would probably need some equalizing, because there are some points where, you know, when you put emphasis on words, it'll get really loud, and then when you do the unstressed syllables, it can kind of get soft. But it's completely audible and easy to listen to. Now I remember, it was Patrick Klepek of Giant Bomb releasing all of his articles now as videos, and I kind of thought it was stupid, not because
That's what what? He's releasing them all as videos, like
he's releasing some of them. He's doing a little bit of both. It was one of those things where he's like, I have this dumb idea I want to try, and it was he's releasing, or he's trying to release video essays. So instead of having an article, he'll just have video, because he's like, oh, people would rather multitask. And I'm like, why not just release audio then? Like, you know?
Yeah, I'd rather have it in audio, because if it's just going to be the story,
right,
then I just listen to him say it rather than watch it.
Yeah, no, that's how I felt, and I almost feel like I should just send him a message and tell him that, because he's like, yeah, this is probably the future of our medium. We're no longer going to be writing articles and stuff, and I'm like, well, shit, man, I could do you one better. Do audio, and then have transcripts of the audio if we need it, because sometimes I don't want to listen to the whole thing. I just want to jump to the parts that validate my own opinion, and then we can move on. So
that's why I have to stop listening to the GameSpot podcast, because I don't agree with anything they say.
I will not get into any of this right now, but yeah, so I think if we release it as at the end of the day, I want to at least have the audio. I don't the video can be lost in the fire, and I will not shed a tear, just as long as we have the
But
audio.
it'll be safe on YouTube. But yeah, we can definitely get the audio out of it pretty easily. So
It'll be safe on YouTube until they release a statement. Copyright infringement.
copy.
I am too white.
Dude.
I look like some other guy. I am copying his image.
Here, let me get the Garmin logo in here. There we go.
No, please no. Oh no. Yeah. And we need like a funny caption picture and maybe background music because I don't know. We don't actually need
Here,
transitional music.
Yeah, this could be the picture.
What is that?
It's a fish.
What is it a fish of?
I don't know. They were
What?
giving these shirts away at the last intern event.
You literally just took your shirt off.
Hey, everybody's doing it now, right?
I'm not doing it.
With Greg Miller doing it all the time.
That was so stupid. Like
He's
it was.
He's been doing it like everything now.
Yeah.
Every
Like
event that he's been shirtless.
I love Greg Miller. I think he's the funny guy. But somehow in the back of my mind, I'm just like, people pay you guys to do this shit. It's one of those things where it's like, think of it this way. If, I don't know, Anderson Cooper got drunk on the news and then took off his shirt, the public outcry or the public swooning, I don't know which yet, but it's just like, you guys, what is this? What are we even doing here?
Sometimes I just wonder, like, how is it that you get to this kind of job and get paid, and then I have to have like a real job?
I mean, it's not even the real job aspect. It's kind of it's more of the idea of they are in office environments. Like, Jeff Gershman is probably in meetings 2 hours a day, every day, like I am. You know, he's doing budget shit. How are they not all fired? You know? It's like one of those things where it's like, how do you go to a company that's this kind of ginormous and they don't, and you're like untouchable? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's the same thing with the comedy button. Of course, it's not as bad, but have you listened to the most recent episode of the comedy button?
Oh yeah, with the farts.
Not just the farts, the continued talk of like weed and the consumption thereof, and I'm like, how? Like, is there no fear? And then it's like, oh well, she's also unemployed, so okay, but it's just one of those things where it's like, gosh, like it just, I don't know. I'm the kind of guy who I don't want to like bring that shit out publicly, like my mishaps or my debauchery. And just the idea that some people are so unapologetic or so like willing to do so. I don't know. Like, I don't want to be like a dick and say, oh, that's I don't want to be a spoil sport, but it just seems like it lacks some tact. I don't know.
I think it's very cool that they are able to do that without getting in trouble. But I know that if I do it, I will probably get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So.
But it just becomes this thing where I'm not sure if I hate them just because I can't do it, or if I hate them because I legitimately don't necessarily approve. I don't know which it is anymore. So I just don't want to say anything about it because I can't frame it as something that anyone else on the internet would understand. Anyway, yeah, that can be it. That can be it. All right.
Okay. That was the first episode of. Do we even have a name?
Are we just gonna be like completely unoriginal and call this the untitled podcast and just do that? Like,
there's like 27 untitled.
I know
podcasts.
It's not funny anymore. Podcast, stop it. It's not funny anymore.
It could be like the Zucchini Cast, the
Zuki Cast, the Eni Cast, the Martini Cast.
How about like just Pete and Joe?
Pete and Joe's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah.
No, that's too much. Just Pete and Joe would be fine.
So we'll think about a name. You can always change it, right?
Well, we can always change it. It's not like anyone's listening.
Exactly. Well, we had one viewer earlier. One viewer.
What? One viewer?
We had one viewer, but now it's zero.
Well,
That might
fuck
have been.
you, one
That might
guy.
have
Or
been.
no, thank you. Come back, please. Don't go.
One guy stumbled upon this thing that has the dumbest name. Whatever.
What was his name? Does it not have? Did it not display his
Oh
name?
no, not. It doesn't have his name, but I named this event. Oh God damn it, work. Someone was like, "Yeah, I'll watch it."
I'm looking at some of these other hangouts. None of these other hangouts are actually very busy. It looks like. Hang on, I'm gonna. Hang on with it.
Usually, you're pretty lucky
Oh
to
no.
get like 1,000 people in a hangout.
Hang on. All right, so I'm sharing this guy.
Okay,
I don't know who is this guy.
I don't know who he is.
Is it a? It's a young kid.
How many
Cream
people are
pie
watching?
slice number 3, no reset. Who are you?
What?
Can I go to his
Chillin' with the Dragon and Sons?
What is that bleeping coming from you or me?
I'm not bleeping anything.
Okay, then that's just me. All right, good. Yes. Okay, so who is this guy? What are you doing? What are you up to? What are your intentions with my daughter? Who are you? Why should I
What?
care?
What is? He's not even talking.
I know it's not fun. Can
What
I
is
just
he?
view? I'm going to view the event. Am I still in focus?
Are people? Yeah, are people watching this thing?
Uh,
Who would be watching this?
look at this kid's picture. What is this? Who are you?
He's so cool. He's
Is
got shades on and his eyes are closed.
there's one viewer watching and it is himself.
Oh.
And what is Toontown Infinite and Toontown He's playing Toontown, Peter.
I thought they took that game down.
I don't even understand. Why are you not on Twitch?
Yeah, if you're gonna play a game, at least stream the game, not your face.
He has very pretty blue eyes.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. Hang on. It's only been like an hour and a half, so I think 2 hours would be a good mark.
Okay.
But now I'm going to see if there's freaking Toontown on here. I'm still in focus.
I could have sworn that they took that game down.
Toontown Infinity!
Oh,
Infinite.
oh, did they make a new one called Infinite, I'm guessing?
Is it free to play or something?
It's something alright.
No racism, sexism, targeted insults, homophobia. Yeah, that's not going to fly. Not in my Toontown. No past project. No following. Wait a minute, is this a user? Yeah, this is a user. Hang on. I want to find the game. Autism.
What?
This first one is called Autism.
In Toontown Infinite?
And there are there are 7 viewers. It's on Steam? Whoa, what is this?
This is just Toontown. I guess it's still up. We used to play this in class sometimes.
I think this person is like she's making a lot of groaning noises. It's kind of funny. Elm Street.
I like how we're re-streaming a stream.
Yeah, how bad is the quality on your end?
Oh, it's pretty bad.
Good.
It's not that it looks bad. It's just really low frame rate.
It's pretty low frame rate on my end. This person is not happy with life.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna play Toontown, you're gonna be pretty unhappy.
She's like, fuck. She's basically saying like, fuck my life, fuck this game, fuck it. Like she's not happy. She is not a happy individual.
You gotta help her. You gotta get Mickey in there. You gotta coax her off that bridge.
She just sounds frustrated, man. She sounds really unpleasant.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. All I remember from Toontown was throwing pies at people. Why is she not throwing pies at people?
Okay, someone is asking on the side, what is this? What is that, a new trolley game? And she responded, it's a piece of shit, that's what that is. Like, she's... Yeah, I never actually played Toontown because it costs money. And too much money, actually. Wasn't it? It was a subscription game, right?
All I remember is that, you remember that typing class we had to take freshman year of high school?
Yes.
Instead of doing any of the work, we would just play Toontown on the PCs.
What? We never... Oh my god, this commentator is so funny. She's like, why does this character need a fucking salad? They don't even fucking eat in this piece of shit game. Her words verbatim. Oh my god. This person is so unpleasant. She's so salty right now. But yeah, okay. Yeah, we never played it. We never played any good games in that class. In fact, I remember taking that class way more serious. Well, no, wait. I didn't goof around a lot in that class, but I goofed around a lot in business computer apps. We would play it was basically like Angry Birds, only it was with a what was it? Knights and stuff. It was basically sieging the castle. What is this game? Why does it have a picture of Ralph?
Who knows?
Toontown?
This guy really likes Toontown.
No, is this okay, yeah, this is all one user, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
He is the Toontown man.
I wasn't sure if it was the game icon or not. Huh. What is going on Twitch right now? Smite Pro League kickoff event. That's bullshit. There's no kickoff.
Wasn't there a Counter-Strike tournament recently?
Yeah, something happened with Counter-Strike. I can't remember what, though. Something did happen, though. You're right. Wow, they let you filter it by maps.
Oh.
This is stupid.
Hey, they worked hard to get that.
I feel icky. This almost is as bad as SOCOM. The people in this game are almost as bad as SOCOM. 25 million people have watched this guy's streams, and all he does is play Counter-Strike. He just said he's going to try to fucking push mid.
What?
I hate this game. I hate everything.
Is that even a Counter-Strike term?
I don't know, but it scares me. And it's like, he has his FPS in the corner. This guy. Like, he has to have all these stupid little stats in here because he's paranoid that if he does not have the most optimum experience, he's going to be bad.
Yeah, he's running at 200 frames per second. At that point,
yeah, I know.
It doesn't matter. Like,
right. I mean, he's just measuring overhead at this point, and that does nothing for him.
Wow.
I guess the issue I have with these people is they get so paranoid about their hardware is they kind of use it as a crutch to blame when they're, like, playing bad. You know, like, they'll say, oh, I only ever play at this FPS and this resolution, and if you do anything substandard than that, then you are bad or something. And if they, like, dip, then they'll just say that it's because of that, you know, fall in FPS. Like, they're just so paranoid. I don't know. I feel like the drop off or the benefit is like minute to some extent.
Now he's looking at guns.
Yeah, I don't. He's like twitchy as hell. Probably did a lot of cocaine before this.
So I don't really check Twitch very often. Like, does anybody stream? I don't know.
Good games?
Not
That's
good,
a good question.
games that I would care about.
No.
Any Crash Bandicoot Twitch streams?
No, but there is one stream that I do enjoy quite a bit, or one website. And where is it? I have way too many. Here it is. Streams. Speedruns Live. And it's just an aggregate of every speedrunner who is streaming on Twitch at this given time.
Oh, wow.
So this guy right here is... Who's on right now? Who is this? Okay, this guy's doing Ocarina of Time Auto Dungeons Practice. But we also... So this guy's doing Ocarina of Time, this guy's doing Super Meat Boy, this guy's doing a 24-hour marathon of Luigi's Mansion and other stuff. Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion.
Huh?
I haven't played Luigi's Mansion in so long. I need to get that DS game.
Yeah, no, you get all
Oh,
kinds of like these guys are really fun because some of them are serious and a lot of other bits of them don't really care to some extent. Like I don't know. It's there's this one guy and I forget his name off the top of my head, but he streams predominantly Super Mario Brothers 2, the Lost Levels one, the Japanese version.
oh, that
But
one.
but I've caught him on several occasions where he is just playing bullshit, like just completely garbage games, and they're the most fun to watch because he is such a nice guy and he's so personable, and he like watches his stream chat like a hawk. So if I say something, he won't call me out, but he'll acknowledge what I said. Like I don't know. He's also big into bodybuilding. You would probably like him.
Oh, I need to know this guy. Who is he?
Or he's not okay. He's not into bodybuilding per se, but he wants to get buff. So you could probably give him some pointers. I follow him on Twitch, so I'm gonna pull that up real quick. I think it's like Gamer J or something. Following. Who am I following? Twitch is the only website that has a more garbage UI than Google Plus is probably Twitch.
Yeah,
Like, make no bones about it. It's so bad.
they really need to redesign it.
The problem I have with Twitch is it's just so hard to filter stuff by what you want. For instance, there's this one. Here he is. Okay, Gamer J06 or Game J06, and I mean I like him. Well, he's pretty cool, but no, the problem is it's just really hard to filter some things. And what else? What's my another beef? You can't. You have to go to individual pages to see past broadcasts unless they make it a highlight. So if this guy had a stream recently, I wouldn't know about it unless he had made it a highlight reel.
Hmm.
So it's kind of annoying. Sometimes I just want to lay down late at night and just watch a Dark Souls stream until 3 in the morning and hopefully fall asleep by then.
Yeah.
And you can still and you can do that. You can still do that. The problem is you have to dig a little deeper and it's not very good. Also, the search functionality is not very good.
Oh man, he's using an emulator.
Oh yeah.
What's he gonna do?
I don't know. I have no idea what this.
No movie. Oh, 20. Oh, he's slowing it down.
I think he's messing around with the Taz, or he's either that or he's doing save states.
Probably save states.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of Tazers on here because that process is kind of tedious and boring.
What is that? I don't know. I'm not aware of what that is.
You don't know what Taz is? It's robots. It's robot speedruns. What they do is they have a tool that lets them rewind time or set up inputs on a frame by frame basis in such a way that they can get the most perfect speed run because they're always cutting corners at the most exact spots.
Okay, so I knew of that, but I didn't know that was what it was called.
Yeah, I forget what it tools and something. I forget what TAS actually stands for. Tool assisted speedrun.
Yeah, I've only ever just called it tool assisted. I didn't know that there was some fancy lingo for it.
Yeah, they just say TAS. I don't know what he's talking about. I haven't been listening to him, but he's a pretty funny guy, and it's fun to watch him play because he's had streams where he'll play stuff like Subterranea and shit like that, and I hate that game so much. That game is not good, though people swear by it. So, how do I stop? How do I stop?
Stop sharing.
I'm trying to stop sharing.
Okay. This has been going for 2 hours, like around 2 hours now.
Perfect, because my room is scorching hot, and I need to get out of here. It's really hot here. We don't have air conditioning.
Gonna dab your face.
I'm gonna dab my face, and I might play Dark Souls because this is
Yeah.
what my life has become.
And I'm gonna go back to playing Battlefield 3 because I like damaging my happiness.
Why? You don't have to do it. You don't have
It's
to do
on my
it.
hard drive, and I want to finish it so I can delete it.
Play the multiplayer, Peter.
You can't finish the multiplayer.
Just jump into just set your goal. 10 matches. 10 matches in multiplayer. Just set a goal.
Is that a trophy?
No. I think it might be.
Look
Look at the trophies. There's probably a trophy for like shooting a. There's probably a trophy for playing one game of multiplayer. There usually is. There's usually one where it's like "Welcome to the Battlefield" or something.
I'll probably do that one then.
Just do it. Just play a few games. No one's gonna talk. It's on the PS3, man. Or 4. Yeah.
PS3.
Yeah. No one's gonna shit talk you.
It's not gonna be like Mag.
It's nothing like Mag. Mag sucks. Battlefield 3 is actually enjoyable.
I told you about how they kicked me out, right?
What of Battlefield or Mag?
Mag. I went. Yeah. My first match, I went in. They're like, "You fucking suck," and they kicked me, booted me. I was like, "What? This is my first match. Give me a break."
They don't have that power. They don't have that power in Battlefield.
Okay.
Yeah, and even if they did, no one does. I've had games where I've gone like 0 and 20 just because I was screwing around. Like I was probably trying to do something that I shouldn't have been doing, and no one really said anything. So yeah, no, Mag's stupid. I'm glad that game shut down.
Okay, so let's actually end this thing.
Yeah, let's end it.
You've been listening to the two of us talk for 2 hours. We've had great times. Maybe we'll do another one. I hope so. This is way easier than doing a real show.
Yeah, we can either do this weekly or we can either do this weekly or bi-weekly or bi-monthly. I don't know what that word even means anymore.
We can definitely do it weekly because, I mean, what do you do on... Actually, this kind of makes it kind of sad. What else am I doing on a Saturday night?
No, this time of day is fine with me, but it was more so just having topics to talk about. But yeah, no, we'll see. We'll do it. So if we have more stuff to talk about next week, we can talk then. So, all right, sounds good.
Definitely.
This has been Pete and Joe's super awesome podcast. Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Goodbye.